Greetings and welcome to the Global Unites podcast. My name is Prashant Divisar, and this show is all about the world we share. We hope that you would find these shows insightful, inspiring, and informative, especially as we try to break away from the algorithms that just give us one perspective, or the fact that more and more people are getting comfortable in echo chambers. And may this show help you see different perspectives, different worldviews. You don't always have to agree with other perspectives, but hearing them out, understanding their grievances, their aspirations, their point of view, why they're triggered by certain elements and why they aspire for certain other goals, it helps see and understand the world we share. So, we are so grateful to all of you who've tuned in. Hopefully you would subscribe and join the Global Unites podcast. Myself, Prashant Divisar. This week's episode, we're going to look back into the conflict in the Middle East, especially Iran's conflict with the United States and Israel. But today's focus is on the Gulf states. How have they been reacting to what's going on, and what's the role they have to play in the journey ahead? This is The World We Share. First, I'd like to bring our attention to the United Arab Emirates, which interestingly has received quite a bit of the attacks and the reaction from Iran, the retaliation. Obviously, you would expect Israel to have significant counterattacks from Iran, but the United Arab Emirates has been a shock for many of the world, including the Arab Emirates themselves, of why have they been targeted, what's going on. And we want to look at their reaction and how this war is actually going to affect them. First, I want to listen to one of the senior ministers of the UAE government, the Minister of International Cooperation. Her name is Reem Al-Hishami, and this is a statement that she made just a few weeks ago.
It's been pretty unprecedented what's happened, and almost unhinged, I would say, to have Iran lash out at the very people who've been calling for de-escalation, who've been calling for this war to never actually even start, which has really taken us by surprise. We've borne the brunt of most of the missiles and drone attacks, and it's really quite surprising for us that Iran has taken such an irrational path to fight the Gulf states and act in this quite unlawful, quite unacceptable manner.
It was, however, the US and Israel who started this conflict. What's your message to them?
Independent of how this began, the retaliatory measures that Iran has taken to attack the Gulf states is really where the issue we have is. And I have to highlight here that Iran isn't simply attacking military bases that have not launched a single missile from them, because we've made it clear that our territory would not be used to launch an attack against Iran. They are actually targeting civilian infrastructure as well, whether it's airport or it's oil tankers. And I think that's a question that one must ask about.
So let's take a quick look here. What she's definitely sharing is there's concern and shock, the fact that Dubai and the UAE in general has been targeted, and in fact has had more attacks on them than maybe even Israel at this point. And the concern here is, why has the UAE been targeted? Why is Iran lashing out at the UAE? That's the concern that consistently comes of the United Arab Emirates. But she's also saying it's not just military targets, these are civilian targets. So Dubai Airport and so on. But the allegation and the concern from the other side is, aren't there US bases in the UAE that are launching attacks? And here she categorically says that there is no military bases in the UAE that's used by the US or the Israelis to attack Iran. And so why is this attack? Why is this happening? What's the purpose of this? And so that's the concern that has been consistently raised. And now we're in fact seeing a change, even a more aggressive tune from the UAE, expecting the threat of the IRGC and the regime to be completely overhauled and not stopping off at negotiations, because they feel that the stability of the region, especially for their own economic interest and the plans and projections and the ambitious goals they have for the future, will always be in question with Iran being governed by the IRGC. Then you never know when the next attack could happen, and it'll destabilize the region. Already you're seeing international travel. Dubai was an international hub. Well, it still is, but now it's under question because there's fear to fly through the Middle East. And there's fear for tourism. All the brand image that they have been building over the years is now in peril, and it will always be in peril as long as there is the IRGC in power. So the UAE has made their stance clear, and they have continued to stand by the US and the Israeli attack on Iran in the sense of they wanted de-escalation, but at the same time it seems like now they're calling for completion of the attacks to see a regime change. Now, the challenge here lies that economically, so many experts were confused. Why is Iran attacking the Gulf states? That doesn't make sense. But now it may have been a strategic win for Iran in the sense that they've caused so much pressure on the region that they were hoping that these states will turn on Israel and the US against it, but looks like they're turning the gears on the other side now. These regimes are saying, no, end this. We don't want this to continue. So that's a new, interesting development we're seeing. Now let's listen to the rest of this interview and some of the perspectives of UAE.
136 countries co-sponsored that resolution condemning the attacks against the Gulf and condemning the fact that states that have been neighbors to Iran, traditional partners to Iran, and who've been calling for de-escalation all along are now actually being targeted in such an undifferentiated manner.
So that gives us a clear idea of the UAE stance and where they're heading, and news articles that also suggest that they want now a definitive end to this conflict. Now let's move to another larger player in the region, in the Gulf states, that is Saudi Arabia. Now we've heard from the Crown Prince himself, and we've also heard from the Foreign Minister. There seems to be a desire to end this because Saudi Arabia and Iran have been in proxy wars for a while, whether it was in Yemen, whether it was in Syria. These proxy wars have continued, and at some point, Saudi Arabia is now saying this has to end. There has been, any sort of war in the region has been funded and supported, in their opinion, by the Iranian regime, and that instability is going to continue to haunt them, and therefore they want to see an end to this. However, now the Saudi regime is talking about them taking action because they've been taking defensive action so far, but now moving further saying we may be taking action against Iran ourselves. That could be a reality. But here is the address by the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia.
What little trust there was before has completely been shattered. The targeting of Riyadh while a number of diplomats are meeting, I cannot see as coincidental. And I think that's the clearest signal of how Iran feels about diplomacy. It doesn't believe in talking to its neighbors. It tries to pressure its neighbors. The kingdom is not going to succumb to pressure. And on the contrary, this pressure will backfire. Will backfire politically, will backfire, I believe, morally, and certainly, as we have stated quite clearly, we have reserved the right to take military actions if deemed necessary. I think it's important for the Iranians to understand that the kingdom, but also its partners who have been attacked and beyond, have very significant capacities and capabilities that they could bring to bear should they choose to do so. And the patience that is being exhibited is not unlimited. Do they have a day, 2, a week? Does it, I'm not going to telegraph that. I would hope that they understand the message of the meeting today and recalculate quickly and stop attacking their neighbors. But I am doubtful that they have that wisdom. I think the fact that, as I said, I think that they have attacked us is something that cannot be justified. So I won't get even into this argument of tying what they're doing to our countries to the American operation. To me, they are two separate issues. And regardless of any other factor, I am not going to justify or allow this equivalency between the war that Iran is engaged in and the war Iran is trying to draw me into.
That was Prince Faisal bin Farhan from the Saudi Arabian leadership there, and clearly saying that there is a limit to the patience that they have depicted so far. They have played a defensive role so far, but at some point that could come to an end. So the Gulf states are definitely getting worked up. There is something taking place. We've also seen some responses from the Qatari regime. The Qatari regime has maybe had the best relations with Iran compared to the rest, and in fact they've always been like an intermediary and helped with peace talks and so on in the past, whether it was with Hamas or now even with Iran. They seem to be playing a role, but they were attacked. And there was a lot of frustration, and we could see some of the comments that have been made by the Qatari regime was, why are we getting attacked? Qatari PM demanding immediate end to conflict, urges Iran to restore regional trust. So there was a statement of, has there been a betrayal of the trust? We have been a good friend. We have been an ally. Why would you attack us in this context? The Prime Minister and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Qatar's, His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdulsalam bin Jazim, has also said that Iran needs to immediately stop these attacks. However, Iran has been reducing their attacks towards Qatar. It's not that there's been a cessation, but in Qatar we're hearing now that children are going back to school, officers are back working, they're no longer working online. So there seems to be a sense of confidence that things have settled, but yet the regime continues to say in Qatar that there are some attacks, drone attacks that they have neutralized, but it seems like Qatar is no longer at the receiving end, unlike Dubai and Saudi Arabia. So that's what's happening in the Gulf states. But the major concern here is about the Strait of Hormuz. Now, for most of business in the Middle East, the Strait of Hormuz is crucial. And for all these countries, that's where they're working from. So they want to see stability there. They want it to be restored, and the threat of an attack. It's not just military ships we're talking about trying to get in. There are over 1,000 ships stranded in the Strait of Hormuz that many of these businesses, billions of dollars worth of cargo, they're not going to risk it if there is a threat of sea mines or bombs or missiles or rockets or drones launched at these. So they're going to stay and wait till they know that things are safe enough to move forward. Now, to create that security is crucial for the economic stability of the region and the world, as many of the world is waiting for their fuel supplies and their gas supplies and many things else coming from the Middle East to come through. So this is going to be a key area of contention where the Middle Eastern leaders, especially Gulf leaders, are going to ask for a clear, definitive solution. So that's what's happening in the Middle East right now, and that's the opinion that we're hearing from most of the Gulf states. Join us again for the next episode of The World We Share. This has been 31 days of a conflict, and we're hoping and praying that this comes to an end and there is stability and a back to return of normalcy, not just for the region, but for the world. Thank you for watching.